Porn addiction is one of the most common struggles that men face today, yet it's one of the least spoken about. It's often hidden, silent, private, and the nature of it makes it very difficult to deal with. Many people are fighting this battle internally because they're too ashamed to ask for help. And it almost feels like a battle that they just can't win. So today I want to talk openly and honestly about porn addiction in men. For many men, porn starts as something curious. It seems like fun, it's readily available and it's free. There's no risk of rejection. At first it feels easy and exciting. What begins as something casual often becomes something that slowly reshapes our mind and the way we think. You see, the male brain is visually wired for stimulation, novelty, and dopamine. And porn provides all three of those. It's an unending supply. And every single video trains the brain to want more. Over time, the brain becomes less responsive and it takes more and more to get that dopamine release. And what does that do to intimacy and touch and our relationships? It actually requires more and more, and that affects things like connection, intimacy, and the way we think within our relationships. Men begin to notice that ordinary stimulation just doesn't do it anymore. They struggle sometimes within sexual intimacy. Sometimes they find they can't even orgasm within normal sex with their partner. Real relationships start to feel dull, and they actually prefer sometimes watching porn than having sex. The brain starts saying, what? Why wait? Why not just have that instant pleasure gratification of porn? I can get it freely whenever I want. I can get it now. And that's where the trap begins. You see, porn addiction affects self-esteem dramatically. Many men start to feel guilty, ashamed, or like something is wrong with them. They might tell themselves, like, this is definitely the last time I'm watching. After this, I'm done. And then again, this might be the last time, only to find that there they go back again. Cycle begins again and again and again and again. And it makes them feel powerless to change the pattern. What happens when you feel powerless? You withdraw. You stop talking. They pretend that everything's okay on the outside, but actually on the inside they're struggling. It's conflict, confusion, and disgust. Let's talk a bit about how it affects relationships as well. Whether these men acknowledge it or not, they start to compare their partner's body and their partner's actions within sex to that of the porn star or whoever it is that they're watching within porn. And this causes a big problem with intimacy. Unrealistic fantasies start to happen. Sexual violence, rape, abuse. It's how far it can go for some men if it's not under control. Often there's a problem with connection, especially on an emotional level. They isolate themselves from their partner, and then the partner starts to feel rejected as well. Inadequate, unvalued, even though the addiction is not actually about them. Porn also has huge emotional consequences. Many men use it as an escape, as an anxiety reliever, to deal with things like boredom, stress, loneliness, anxiety, and depression. Porn becomes the coping mechanism to deal with these emotions. Instead of dealing with painful emotions, porn becomes the shortcut. The problem is these feelings never get resolved. They just get buried. And buried emotions always come to the surface somehow, whether it's through irritability, anger, outbursts, through your dreams, and disconnection. So the real question then is, if porn is so addictive and is so problematic, why aren't we able to stop it so easily? The answer is because it's not just a habit, you see. It's a wired response in the brain that has been trained. This wiring, or the neural pathways, become stronger and stronger and stronger every time porn is watched. The dopamine release that ensues thereafter is the reward system that the brain gives the body. And without developing new coping mechanisms for these feelings that they're experiencing, the brain keeps returning to familiar patterns. But here's the part that matters the most. It's a sign of unmet emotional need. The opposite of porn addiction is connection. And men need connection. Men need support. Men need to feel like it's safe to talk about what they're feeling. And I know that this isn't the general way of understanding how men should feel and think and all of that. But that's exactly the problem. If they don't connect, if they don't talk about what they're feeling, if they don't deal with these emotions, they will go towards coping mechanisms such as porn and become numb towards their feelings. And all this starts to blow up in their lives. Men need to talk about this problem that they're facing. Healing starts when the man starts to realize that the addiction is not him. It's not who he is. It is something that is learned. It is something that can be overcome. But here's the positive. It can be rewired. Intimacy can be restored. The sexual problems faced in your relationship because of porn can be fixed. Confidence can be rebuilt, but it starts with honesty. It starts with taking the conversation out of the dark and bringing it into the light and talking about it. If you or someone you know is struggling with porn addiction, send this vlog to them. You never know how this can change their lives. Support is out there. I'm Byron Werbeloff from Centered Counselling. Let's get you back on track.